Hey guys, Jacob here. This is going to be this week's vendor reset for the 19th of November. At the base of Ops today, they are selling a M1928 or the Thompson with Killer, Accurate, and Wascally. If you guys need any of these attachments or the talents, my bad, you guys can roll these on to any other gun. Wascally is great if you're getting hit by riot foam. Next is the MK16 with strained, accurate, and protected reload. If you're a fan of the MK16, you could always throw Legger on there and actually use this as a PvP weapon. If you're really a big fan of this gun, I might pick one up just to have it. A Decarius, which has Satis, Allegro, and Cannon. And then an Alp Summit Armaments backpack that has 17,000 armor, 25% skill haste, skilled, and destructive. You can always roll destructive onto another backpack if you're trying to get that. Now, 11.0% or 11% weapon damage on this Providence chest piece, so if you need a pretty decent roll, I know you can get higher rolls, but some of you guys who don't have really good luck, you could pick this up and roll it onto another chest piece, so you guys can use on a few of your builds. Next is going to be the SMG damage, pistol damage, and weapon damage offensive mod. So if you're trying to make an SMG build or a pistol build, this will actually work out well for you, and you guys can have 3% of each. A blast radius for the drone, which is in the hull slot, which is 41%. And the SHD CPU V2 for the turret, which is 129.5% damage. Next, over at the clan vendor, they're selling the M-Lines Guard P90 with perfect preservation, accurate, and transmission. If you guys are trying to collect all the named weapons, I'd recommend picking this up just to add it to your collection. That way you guys will have it and not have to worry about trying to find it. It's right here. Next is going to be the Negotiator's Dilemma knee pads, which have 23,000 health. So if you need a pretty decent health roll on your knee pads, I'd recommend just buying a few of these just to have this stat roll to roll onto future gear or current gear you're using. Tip of Spear Mask with 23% skill haste and 15% damage to elites with an offensive mod. Hardwired Mask, which has 47% hazard, so if you're trying to roll hazard onto something, I'd recommend picking this up. That way you can actually just roll this onto other pieces like other masks, or just use it on the hardwire build itself. Black Market T821 with measured and extra, hitting at 19.1. Just remember that depends on your build. Spas 12 with vindictive, stable, and protected reload. A FAMAS 2010 with eyeless, stable, and recharged. An MPX which has Ranger, Jazz Hands, and Greased. Alp Summit backpack again, which has 7% weapon damage, 9,000 health, insulated, and restorative. And a Providence Mask, which has 13,000 health, 90% damage to elites, and self-adjusting. A Badger Tough backpack, which this one's actually not too bad. You could roll the skill haste off with the weapon damage on here if you actually need I guess an okay backpack. You could run this if you're trying to find one you can actually use. And a Defense Protocol standard model with has armor on kill, 4,000 health, and 3% extra incoming healing. And a backpack for the Firefly, which is +3 max targets. Sturdy Pistons, which is 36% health, and 44% health on the Hive launcher slot. And that's going to be it for the clan vendor. Now at the theater, Tactical Super 90 SBS with Spike, Stable, and Wascally. Like I said, Wascally can be thrown on other gun or shotgun if you want to have its snare resistance against riot foam. LVIC with Rooted, Boomerang, and Stable. Alp Summit gloves, which these ones actually are not that bad. You could roll offensive on here with assault rifle, have hard hitting and offensive mod, so you can stack a little weapon damage into these gloves, and you could have that offensive mod to have an extra red in there to get even more damage on them. China Light knee pads with having trench and 18% skill haste. Defense Protocol mod with blind, shock, and resistance with 5,282 health. Magnetic discs, which is for the Seekers, which have 194.8 skill haste. So if you need some really high skill haste mods for the Seeker, I'd recommend buying a few of these. Next is going to be the shield mod, which is right here, which is holster generation, which is 83%. So if you need a 83% holster generation, which is pretty high, and you can get higher ones, pick that up. And a Firefly, which is 135% skill haste. So these mods actually are not that bad. This, the magnetic disc and the resin for the Firefly. Now over at the campus, they are selling a surplus SVD with strained, stable, and double duty. If you're trying to make some kind of crit build with an SVD, you could pick this up, just have strained on it. MG5 with measured, extra, and Wascally. And a Wyvern Wear mask that has skill, power, crit chance, and restorative on it. And a Gila holster, which has 10,000 armor on kill and 9,000 health on kill if you're trying to get an armor on kill and health on kill style build. A utility system mod, which is going to be electronics, which has drone and pulse skill power and skill power if you're trying to use pulse and drone. And for the duration for the pneumatic slot, which is 29.8, the hive system slot, which is 23.4, and the effective duration for the pulse is 42.2. Now the first DZ is going to be DZ West. They're selling an M870 MCS shotgun with breadbasket, stable, and cannon. A classic M1A with killer, optimized, and rooted. And Araldi's holding gloves which have 14,000 health and wicked. And Heliguard knee pads that have patience and 15,000 health. Defense system, which has 3.5 total armor, 4,869 armor, and 30% explosive resistance. I actually bought 2 of these due to the fact that I like having a little bit of explosive resistance, and you still get a decent chunk of armor off those. Electric motor for the Seeker Mine, which is 134% skill haste. The Ballistic Shield hard coating, which is 64% holster generation, and blind duration for the Firefly. Just a reminder, these all cost resources. MP5 Navy with eyeless, extra, and overlap, which is DZ South. The FAL SA58 with eyeless, accurate, and protected deploy. X45 Tactical Sidearm with Preputation on Optimize and Cannon. And a Fenris Backpack with crit damage, crit chance, armor, efficient, and insulated. Providence Chest Piece again, which has 25,000 health, hard-hitting, crit damage, and headshot damage. Offensive system mod with 5% marksman rifle damage, SMG damage, weapon damage. The weapon damage is a little bit low, but if you need some 5% or marksman rifle damage mods, then you could pick these up to get your marksman rifle damage build up a little bit higher. Trauma Analyzer, which is 28.1% deflect duration. And the Magnetic Rail, which is 68.3 damage. Now the last DZ is going to be DZ East with a Model 700 with ignited, stable, and in rhythm. Classic RPK with Vindictive, Allegro, and protected reload. D&H Mass with 18% damage fleet, skill haste, and empowered. Precise Wyvern holster with 5,097 skill power, and a few mods, which is increased poison, increased confuse, and skill power, and an infusion for the Kim launcher, which is 89.1. The polycarbonate housing, which is 41.7 for the hive, and the mod for the pulse, which is going to be the coil slot, which is 105% skill haste. That's about this, guys. This week's vendor reset. I know there's a few items that they're selling you guys should pick up, especially some of those higher roll mods. But thank you guys all for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Division 2 content, and as always, I'll catch you guys later.